Om 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 Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om Shri Matre Namaha. Om Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Hari Om. So welcome to this Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 in the light of the Holy Gita of Swami Chinmayananda. We saw yesterday, up to yesterday, we saw about how work should be done. That is, Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, don't live a life of indolence, of inertia. Get up and work. Do your work on this battlefield, Arjuna. And how should that work be done? We have authority, only the very famous verse we saw, Karmanyeva Adhikaraste. We have authority only of the work and not about the fruits of the results of the action. May we focus only on the work and not about the results. May we not be inspired by the results. Meaning, when I'm beginning to do a work, let me not think about, I am going to get this result, so I am doing this work. That takes my attention from the present moment, from the process, to a future of which I have no control. The result comes in the future. So my attention is not wholehearted when I think like this and do work. So may I focus on one moment. Gurudev's picture is also coming. Yes. May I focus my attention on the results of the work. May I focus on my attention on the work and not on the results. So this is the and then at the same time, just because I am not able to focus on the result, I'm not focusing on the result. So I don't have any control over the result. So let me just not do any work and let me just be idle and spend my life in this manner. That is also not an option. That's karmanyevadhikaraste. And then we have the other verse, yogastaha kuru karmani. Be in yoga and do action. Sankam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhi asiddhayo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yoga is balance of mind. Balance of mind means whether I feel joyful about doing something or whether I feel sorrowful about doing something. If something has to be done, I engage in that work. And whether I get victory or I get defeat. Victory means my mind is calm. Defeat means my mind is restless. Either way, I do what needs to be done. So that is those two verses, very important verses in chapter 3, chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. And here in this verse, 49th verse, the importance of Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga means there are two types of mind. Mind and the intellect are of two different natures. The objective mind is something that can be agitated at all times. It is wavering and it is not steady. Whereas the intellect is having one steady and clear thought and working with that thought. So that is called Buddhi Yoga. So Bhagavan says, um, instead of doing work with a lot of desired expectations, working with one single pointed mind, doing that work without expectation of any particular results is greater. 49th verse. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Durena, very far away. He avaram, it is also very, very ordinary. Lower than the yoga of wisdom is far lower than the yoga of wisdom. Yoga of wisdom means I am integrated with my intellect. I am concentrating and focusing on the work to be done. And I am delivering the action very beautifully, being present to the work that is at hand. That's only Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is not, it doesn't have anything to do with Jnana Yoga or sitting without doing anything in meditation. This is not that Jnana Yoga that's being spoken about. Buddhi Yoga is being with one single pointed intellect, doing some work, focusing and doing. It can be even standing behind the crease, keeping the bat steady, facing the ball, and as the cricketer is just taking a deep breath, inhaling and exhaling, and along with the exhale, the ball flies to a sixer. It is Buddhi Yoga because he is totally concentrated on receiving that ball on his bat and taking the ball and setting it over the boundary into a sixer. So that is more intelligent way of acting than doing many things without any kind of an attention to the work and with having multiple results in mind and taking up the work. So therefore, Arjuna, Buddhi Yoga is greater than just doing work for the sake of time pass, without any concentration, without any kind of a purposelessly, only to fulfill my own needs, only fulfill my own wants. Instead of doing that work, participating in focused action is very great. So therefore, Arjuna, Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha, surrender to the Buddhi. Surrender to the Buddhi means take all the multi-pronged thoughts of this and that, and I want this and I want that. I should have this, I must have this, I like this, I don't like this. I like this person, I don't like this person. I like to work with this person, I don't want to work with this person. I like this situation, I don't like this situation. I want to be in this place. I want these things, I don't want these things. Instead of all these likes and dislikes about objects, persons, and situations, put everything, collect all those thoughts and surrender it into this one single thought of the highest purpose for which I'm engaging in an action. That is called surrender. Buddhau Sharanam Anvicha. Take refuge in Buddhi. Take refuge in Buddhi means take refuge in that single thought, which is the only purpose and goal of our life. Kripanaha phalahetavaha. People who are all working for this and that results are all very miserly. Miserly means when miser is a person who is not a poor person. He has all the wealth with him, but still he does not spend at all. That person is a miser. So here, the whole consciousness, the whole awareness of this whole universe is available with this individual, whoever I am, whoever you are. But if we leave all that and we are just bothered about one particular result here, one particular result there, or even a few particular results here and there, we are all only miserly people. Kripanaha, phalahetavaha, working for the sake of results. So Gurudev says, Buddhi, as a very beautiful definition of Buddhi. We talk in Hindi, Akkal hona chahiye, or we have to work with Buddhi, we have to work with our intellect. So what is the meaning of that word intellect? Buddhi, as defined in the Upanishads, is the determining factor in the inner equipment. Nishchayatmika buddhihi. Samshayatmika manaha. Manaha, mind is that which has doubts, which is dual. It keeps swinging like a pendulum. One moment on this side, one moment on that side. One moment having this thought, one moment taking the opposite thought also. That is mind. Intellect is, I decide one thing, I do that one thing, and whatever results come, I am okay with it. And I continue to purify the action and complete the action. Complete the whole process with a lot of focus, concentration, in a meditative state, with all knowledge, with the right kind of emotional input into that action, and completing the whole action. That is called intellect, working from the intellect. Nishchayatmika buddhi. Thus, when the thought flow is in a state of flux and agitated, it is called mind. When it is single pointed, calm and serene in its own determination, it is called the intellect. When thought flow is agitated, it is mind. When it is single pointed, it is called intellect. Now, as we listen to the Bhagavad Gita, as we listen to the words of the Holy Gita, if you are completely focusing here and listening, or even taking notes and trying to understand and contemplate on these words alone, then you are in the intellect. But on the contrary, as it constantly happens, the YouTube will be running. On one side, something will be happening in the kitchen. On the other side, there will be somebody at the doorbell. On the third side, there will be somebody else fighting. On fourth side, we might have a mobile phone. If all these activities are happening simultaneously, and you are also listening to this talk, then you can understand you're in the state of mind. But when you are just listening to this talk, and every other action that you do with all the sense organs of action, like the hands and the feet are resting, the hands are with a notebook and pen, taking notes, making notes about the Bhagavad Gita, thinking about your past, whatever happened, and referring to these notes and seeing in what way have I done something wrong then, which I can correct myself now. Applying the Bhagavad Gita, and if you are listening like this, then you are cultivating your intellect. Buddhi Yoga is to be established in the devotion to the intellect. Being steady in your conviction, with your mind perfectly under control of your discriminative intellect, to live thus as a master of your inner and outer world is called Buddhi Yoga. In Buddhi Yoga, we pursue our duties without losing sight of our ultimate goal of life. So we are doing our day-to-day actions, but the goal of my life is not to be with this person and that person, with doing this thing, getting so much of money. All those goals are all medium goals. They are the vehicle goals. Vehicles to achieve my goal of life is money, relationships, good health, everything. They are the vehicles to reach my goal. The main goal is either dharma. Dharma is doing my duty. Artha is earning money, earning wealth, earning knowledge, and improving my the wealth that I have in all respects. In whatever way we can acquire wealth, acquiring, there is artha. Third is kama, fulfilling my desires. I might have certain wants, and certain wants which are all not which are all in accordance with dharma. So fulfilling those wants is kama. Like it can be eating food, drinking water, getting married, giving birth to children, taking care of the children, admitting those children in good schools, and attending to their education, taking care of the emotional well-being of the family and the extended family, worshipping God. All this will come under kama. And then Moksha is final liberation. Getting free from dharma, artha, and kama is moksha. Moksha is liberation from what? Liberation from having to do work constantly, having to acquire wealth constantly, and having desires, entertaining desires, and wanting to fulfill them all the time. So, being free of these three by attaining the knowledge of the self is called moksha. In Buddhi Yoga, we pursue our duties without ever losing sight of our ultimate goal of life. The attempt of the mind to work in union with the intellect, the objective mind, working under the control and the order of the subjective mind is called Buddhi Yoga. So, as the example we saw, the clerk does not take decisions on dispatching the mails without consulting the secretary. The clerk receives the mail, the mind receives the inputs through the sense organs. The mind does not process it, it hands it over to the intellect. The intellect refers to the data and then processes the information and gives the instruction for action that again passes through the mind and is conveyed through the sense organs of action. So that is called Buddhi Yoga. If we work in this manner, then we are working in the state of yoga, and whatever action we do will not have any repercussions. There will be not any mistakes. Mistakes means not the mistakes out of ignorance. I'm talking about mistakes of sankalpa, of the intentions. Any no mistaken intentions will be there behind our actions. Our actions will come out clean. Unselfish work performed in a spirit of dedication and egoless surrender is a secret method of exhausting our vasana store. Unselfish work without any identification of I want this, I want to achieve this kind of a thing because this work I am doing. Spirit of dedication and egoless surrender is a secret method or exhausting my vasana store. See, work can be done for two reasons. Work can be done because I want to do work and I want to earn some money. I want to live my living. That is a different kind of work. But here on the spiritual path, when I want to realize myself, it is very important for me to purify my mind. And how that purification of mind is achieved, how does work help in that? Just doing work without any expectation of result, any reward for that work, or recognition, or approbation, or approval, or even validation. Nothing. Just on a day to day basis, doing whatever needs to be done without anybody telling us and without anybody praising us. That is karma yoga. And what will it do? As I'm doing work, the mind is flowing out. The mind is getting a channel. The work can be writing, the work can be reading, the work can be sweeping, the work can be looking at accounts, the work can be gardening, the work can be cooking, the work can be tailoring. Any work. No work is not a good work. So, whatever work we are doing, that work exhausts the store of vasanas inside us. Such a mind alone, when purged clean, can reflect the self clearly and come to discover the eternal Godhood. So, the next 50th verse is learn what the results he gains who performs his duty with evenness of mind. So, what is the like? Of course, even though we may not be seeking any results, we would like to know what exactly happens when we do work in this manner. And so, this 50th verse is there. One part of this verse is very interestingly the motto of the IAS Training Academy at Dehradun. The Civil Services Training Academy at Dehradun has this motto, which is coming from verse 50, chapter 2 of the Bhagavad Gita. What is that verse and what is that line, which is a motto? Let's see. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite tasmat yogaya yujyasva yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. The meaning of the word yoga is given, and this is the motto of the Dehradun IAS Training Academy. Buddhi yuktaha, the one who is united with the intellect, meaning all the thoughts of seeing, the hearing, the tasting, the smelling and touching, feeling, everything is united with the intellect. Jahati iha, such a person, what happens? He will give away, it will fall away from him. What will fall away? Sukrita dushkrite. When he is working with that unison of mind and intellect, his the notions of this is a good action, this is a bad action, this will have results like this. It is not, he is not doing either good action or bad action. He is doing the action that has to be done by him. It is a kartavya karma. Like we are talking of actions which we are not talking about evil actions done in a concentrated manner. We are talking here about actions which has to be done. Like an IAS officer has to be administering his duties. A policeman has to stand on guard. A chief minister has to do his work. And a prime minister is doing his work. A college teacher is teaching. A mother is cooking or taking care of children. Or a woman is working in the office. A journalist is doing her work. We are talking of this kind of work. We should not confuse and we should not take it for granted that Bhagavad Gita is talking about any kind of work. A sweeper sweeping on the road, or somebody sweeping in our own home also, washing the bathroom, washing the kitchen, wiping the floor, sweeping and mopping the floor, sitting and doing puja, no action, or chopping meat in the meat shop, washing meat, washing shoe uppers, the leathers of shoe uppers. Any job it can be. There is nothing degrading or nothing too high or nothing too low. Buddhi yuktaha, such a person, when he is doing the job with integrity of mind, simple as that, with focus, concentration, meditation, and a lot of gratitude and love that they have this opportunity, feeling that work with a lot of very beautiful emotions and doing that work, what happens to that person? Sukrita dushkrite. For example, Ubhe Sukrita dushkrite, in the example of nature we will give. There is a big wave, we call it a tsunami. The tsunami rises very high and it falls on the land. We have all seen that around 2004. It falls on the land and then it destroys many people, it destroys things, objects, homes, many things are taken into the sea. So it is an action. The tsunami has happened, the wave has come, and many things have gone. If a person had done this, we would blame that individual person for doing such a damage. But has anybody blamed the ocean for coming and taking away so many lives or destroying so many properties? In the same way, when we are doing, the ocean is not having any likes or dislikes. The action is just happening. It may be a very difficult example to understand, but the same thing, convert that ocean into our own self. We may be in any kind of an action, any prescribed action we may be doing. It may have the quality of giving us a good name or a bad name. But when we are united with our mind, all the five sense organs are united with the mind, and the mind is united with the intellect. And in this state of mind, we are doing the action. Nothing sukrita, dushkrita. Whether the action is a good action or a bad action, whether the action has got good consequences or bad consequences, it will not affect that individual who is doing the action. Tasmat, therefore, Arjuna, yogaya yujyasva. Don't fight this battle because I don't like Duryodhana, I don't like Dushasana. Those people have done all such things and I want to kill them. No, not for any personal likes and dislikes. Or don't not fight in the battle because I like Bhishmacharya, I like Dronacharya. I don't want to be the person who is responsible for their death. Don't fight the battle, or don't fight the battle for these reasons. But fight the battle for the sake of yoga, for the sake of integrity of mind. Your mind and your intellect are one. Tasmat yogaya yujyasva. Yogaha. What is yoga? Karmasu kaushalam. Effortless. Kushalata means skill in action. Skill is not just being able to do something well. If you want to really experience what is Kushalata, you can see the flower vendor. Sometimes on the road, she may be having a baby in her waist, or she may be feeding the baby. She will have lots of flowers here. Somebody else may be talking to her, and she'll be answering that person. She may even sell some flowers to somebody, take the money and put it back, but she will be threading flowers. She will be threading or joining flowers on making a garland, or making a flower, whatever we sell it and keep it on our hair. It is, you can't call it a garland. In Tamil, it is called saram, a string of flowers. She is doing that. And with ease, there'll be a smile on her face. She will be talking with her baby also. She will be exchanging the money, giving the money to the other person, whoever is buying the flowers. And at the same time, effortlessly, without missing a single thread, she will string the flowers so beautifully. This is called yoga. Yogaha karmasu kaushalam. And so that's a very beautiful verse. One who has an evenness of temper, accomplished by this fact, withdrawal from the realm of sentiments. So, what is temper? Temper is coming from the word emotion, emotions, feelings. What exactly happens is when there is a perception of a stimulus. What is emotion? What is feeling? If we clarify this, it will be very good. There is a stimulus is happening, and the stimulus can be in the form of a situation outside, which is coming through our five sense organs, or the stimulus can be in the form of a thought we have, or the stimulus can be in the form of a desire filled. Everything else is thoughts only. Experiences, desires, thoughts. We have a stimulus. That stimulus is perceived. Immediately, the command is given to the body to secrete certain chemicals. Those, whether it is oxytocin, or whether it is serotonin, or whether it is dopamine, whether it is vasopressin, whether it is endorphin, whether it is what else? Oxytocin, dopamine, endorphin, yeah, dopamine, endorphin, oxytocin, serotonin, 4, vasopressin. Or it can be, if it is an urgent and emergency and a stressful situation, the secretion can be cortisol and adrenaline, fight and flight. These are the different hormones that can be secreted. Now, these hormones spread throughout the body. For 6-7 seconds, they remain. We perceive those hormones, and the body reacts. The cells of the body are given directions to act. And that is what is called, that is the relationship between what we see, what we perceive in our mind, and how we understand it. And because of how we understand it, what is the instruction that is given to the brain, and what is the secretion that happens, and what is the direction that the cells get to act. Everything happens in fractions of seconds. So this is the, and when this emotion, when this feeling, this intense emotion is lingering for a long time, it becomes, you experience it as a feeling, a sensation and a feeling in the body and mind. And when these sensation and many different types of sensations and feelings, when they're coming in combinations, they become our moods. So you have emotions, you have feelings, sensations, and moods. All these things are all working through us constantly, depending on how we perceive things and how we respond to situations. So, yoga karma sukaushalam means having the appropriate response to a situation. Who is established in his resolute intellect gets himself transported from the arena of both the good and the bad, merit and the demerit. So, if we are functioning with that clarity of what I must be really doing at this point of time, in what best way can I respond to the situation and not get trapped in who is doing what, who is saying what, how can they do that, how can they say this, how can this happen and that happen. This person will become an intelligent doer of action. And whatever he does, he will rise from success to success in life. Transport from the arena of good and bad, merit and demerit. The concept of good and bad is essentially of the mind, and the reactions of merit and demerit are left on the mental composition in the form of vasanas or samskaras. Vasana is the tendencies. When these feelings are staying for long time in our body, and it is making us continue to do more and more actions to get those feelings, then it turns into vasanas. It solidifies into heavy thoughts called vasanas. And what are samskaras? The difference between samskara and vasana is there is some wet earth, and a cow is passing by, the hoof of the cow is just placed on the wet earth. That is called a samskara. It is a light impression. But when that wet earth becomes very hard, and wet cement rather, when that so on wet cement, if there is a hoof of the cow, that soft cement, the hoof is called samskara. But when the cement is allowed to dry, or many cows come and place their hoofs on that wet cement, and then it dries, that part becomes a vasana. Same way in our mind. When we just do an action, and it's a one-time impression we have, one-time experience we have, we did that action, it just gets stored in our mind as a good memory. That's all. But when we are repeating that action again and again and again, it becomes very solidified. It becomes vasana. Once it becomes a vasana, that vasana will be propelling us to do that action again and again and again, because it cannot be fulfilled without attention. We have given so much of attention, and that attention has become so solid that it will propel us into action again and again. The concept of good and bad is essentially of the mind, and the reactions of merit and demerit are left to the mental composition in the form of vasanas or samskaras. What does Krishna tell Arjuna? Apply yourself, advises Krishna, to the devotion of action, yoga. In the context again, Vyasa is giving a definition of yoga as he means it here. Earlier he had already explained that evenness of mind is yoga, samatvam yoga uchyate. Now he rewrites the same definition more comprehensively and says yoga is dexterity in action. So samatvam yoga uchyate refers to the 5 sense organs of perception, and yoga karma sukhaushalam refers to the 5 sense organs of action. The earlier definition is being incorporated in the latter one, because otherwise evenness of mind is yoga may be understood as mere evenness of mind producing inaction and slothfulness. So if it is only sense organs of perception, then people will think that I don't need to do any action, and they will live a lazy life. When yoga, that is the art of working without desire, is pursued, the karma yogin becomes detached from all of the existing vasanas within himself. He becomes a purified person. The purified mind, both the good and the bad. The vasana pressure in an individual causes restlessness within. The more vasanas are there, the more the mind becomes restless. The mind is not happy. How much ever there is attainment in life, how much ever there is wealth in life, how much ever everything is going very great in our life, we cannot be happy and sleep peacefully if the mind is filled with vasanas. The vasana pressure in an individual causes restlessness within. The inner equipment that has become peaceful and serene is called the pure antakarana, which is unavoidable prerequisite for consistent discriminative self-application in meditation. So all this is not basically said to do more action in the world. All this is a preparation. These injunctions and these thoughts are being discussed so that we know the art of engaging in action, so that we are able to withdraw from the action. We don't want to be doing work all our life. That is why we enjoy our holidays. We enjoy our Sundays. People enjoy their Fridays sometimes, or Sundays. And we enjoy, the school children enjoy the long summer holidays. They enjoy the quarterly holidays and the half-yearly holidays. We all love freedom. We all love to be free from work. The housewife at home who is going on through the grind every day will feel very happy when husband is out of station and everybody else is engaged in the family outside somewhere, and she just has to eat a little bit of that old rice that is kept before with some urga, and then her work is done. She doesn't have to go to the kitchen and cook and do anything. She really loves it. So everybody loves that freedom from work. And so this whole part of the Bhagavad Gita, which talks about right action, is telling us the way by which we can act so that we will not get trapped in the action and keep doing the action again and again compulsively, but we will do the action, receive whatever is coming, and offer it to Ishvara as the results given to Ishvara, so that we will move and progress in our life rather than getting trapped in actions. The 51st verse. Karmajam buddhi yukta hi phalam tyaktva manishinaha janma bandha vinirmuktaha padam gacchantya. So what happens to the person who does action in this manner? Karmajam buddhi yukta hi. The wise, possessed of knowledge, having abandoned the fruits of their actions, freed from the fetters of birth, go to the state which is beyond all evil. Karmajam. Buddhi yuktahi phalam tyaktva manishinaha. Manishi is the intellectual person. The one who is tuned into the intellect. Phalam tyaktva gives up the results of the actions. I want this, I want that, this has to be done, that. It doesn't mean that not to focus, not to plan. Focusing and planning as part of the process is okay. But sitting and imagining about the results is the problem here. Buddhi yuktahi. So that is action integrated with the intellect. Karmajam. Born out of actions. Janma bandha vinirmuktaha. Such a person, what happens? They will be freed from the bondage of birth. What is the bondage of birth is? I have desires, I have a lot of vasanas, a lot of things that I want to acquire and hold and possess and enjoy in the world outside. And because of that, I have to take birth again. This life is not enough. My mind is not pure, so I have to come back. So, Janma Bandha Vinirmuktaha are the people who are free from that bondage. And where do they go? Why do we do all this? They go to Padam Gachanti Anamayam. They go to that state of mind which is free from all disease, which is free from all mental repercussions, which is free from all grief, all pain, all sorrow. Such a beautiful place the mind stays in at all times. When one works with neither the ego nor desires, nor one achieves vasana purgation. This is possible only when one has always the higher goal in view. 52nd verse. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyasi tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. Yada te, when the intellect, moha kalilam buddhihi vyatitarishyati, when the intellect, when your steady thought, when your desires and sankalpas transcend delusion. Delusory thinking is, I am this body, having limited beliefs, is called delusory thinking. Buddhihi vyatitarishyati. It transcends the delusory thinking that I am this body and begins to function from the true knowledge of the self, of the akhanda, the unlimited I, consciousness, which is only me. From that standpoint of view, when the intellect starts functioning, what happens? Tada, at that time, gantasi nirvedam. The person achieves nirveda, means he transcends knowledge of the sense organs and sense perceptions from shrotavyasya shrutasya cha. He becomes dispassionate to whatever is heard. Whatever is heard means whatever I have heard that will give me joy, give me pleasures, he is not interested in. Shrotavya means whatever I hear, whatever I see, whatever I smell, whatever I taste, whatever I feel. He has dispassion from all those things. And Shrutasya, whatever he has heard before and whatever he will hear in the future about the future benefits and future experiences that he may want to have. He is just Nirveda also means dispassion from all that. He is free from attachment to all those things. So that is the Phalashruti, or the result of working in this manner in Buddhi Yoga. This cause of delusion is conceived of as the indescribable power of Maya. Why is this delusion happening? Delusion means I am the body. Why is it happening? Within everything, there is unmanifest electricity. Even in space, there is electricity. In water, also, there is electricity. In fire, also, there is electricity. We are all seeing how electricity is being harbored, hydel power, ocean thermal power, wind power. Everywhere, electricity is harvested. So, there is unmanifest electricity in the same way. In consciousness, in thought, there is unmanifest, is called Maya. And it is not perceptible except in its different manifestations. It is a phenomenon that can be fully estimated and accounted for through its varied expressions. How does Maya express in different qualities like, fighting, getting angry, getting upset, the different emotions? We say drama-like situations. Even if you really want to see what is Maya, you should just look at the YouTube feeds, especially after the elections or the election results are announced, or when the chief minister does something, and so many people, somebody leader of opposition says something, and chief minister is silent, and so many people are asking why this person said that, why by that person said that, and you see the streaming number of YouTube videos on that topic, back and forth, the press meets, the press interviews, again and again and again, repeatedly on the same topic. So that is nothing but the manifestation of Maya. Maya is all the insignificant different qualities, all the different qualities that are there, which are angry, anger, hatred, jealousy, apathy, shame, fear, guilt, or even the good qualities, peace, joy, bliss. All these are also qualities of Maya only. But when we go higher and subtler in Maya, these qualities don't bind us, but the other qualities will bind us. At the intellectual level, it expresses itself as a film of doubt and hesitation in its understanding. At the physical level, you can see all the different names and forms are all Maya only. Like a laptop is not a mobile phone is not a handkerchief is not a book, and a book is not a torchlight is not a table lamp. Everything is different. Everything has got a different name and form. So names and forms are the constituents of Maya. At the intellectual level, it expresses itself as a film of doubt. Maya comes as a doubt and hesitation in its understanding or experiencing who am I, the self in us. This expression, Maya, is coined by the masters to mean the veiling power or the Avarana Shakti. Avarana Shakti is the dark power. Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti, we can see in cinema theaters. When you enter into a cinema theater, you leave behind you all the different varieties of things that you saw in the world outside. You enter, you can still see some chairs and people sitting and talking, moving about and all that. But when the movie is going to start, all the lights are switched off completely, and it is overpowered by darkness. In the darkness, you cannot see anything else. There is only darkness. But in the darkness, what is being done? The movie is shown from the projector on the screen. So Maya operates in the same way. It shuts out all the different ideas that are there. It shuts out. Here, Maya is working in a different way here. In the brain, Maya works out like it shuts out my true understanding of reality. It pulls a veil of darkness on the true understanding of who am I. It does not allow me to see that I am this whole cosmos, this whole space is I. It does not allow you to see that. And contrarily, like how the movie is projecting inside in the theater, this Maya Shakti is projecting outside into the world. It is projecting our movie outside. The movie of the different forms we see, the movie of the different sounds we hear. We have an excellent stereo surround system in this world. The movie of the different smells we experience. It is a 5-dimensional movie that we are seeing, because the Maya Shakti from within is projecting our awareness outside, and at the same time it is veiling our awareness of the true self within. Avarana Shakti is the veiling power. Vikshepa Shakti is the projecting power. Due to this mist of ignorance that envelops the intellect, when it is unconscious of the spiritual reality behind it, the mind starts projecting the world of the not self and superimposes upon it two firm ideas that it is true, Satyam, Satyatva, And I am nothing other than the projected world. The projected world is only me. Atma Buddhi, like everything belongs to me, I am in that. And Satya Buddhi, Sukha Buddhi or Dukha Buddhi, and the Atma Buddhi. Everything belongs to me. Everything belongs to me means this projected world, this body. This body is I, Atma Buddhi. This body is real, Satya Buddhi. And Sukha or Dukha Buddhi, Satyatva, Mityatva, Atma Buddhi, and Sukha Dukha Tva. This is called the Vikshepa Shakti of Maya. Shankara also, Gurudev mentions here, connects the stanza with the following. You may now ask, when shall I attain the true conviction of the self? Will it be after crossing beyond the veil of ignorance and obtain wisdom through the discrimination of the self and the not self? So, do I have to wait to know, to move beyond this veil of Maya and discriminate between who am I and what is not I? Only then will I get liberated. So, the answer Bhagavan gives is, Shruti vipratipanna yada sthasyati nischala samadhavachala buddhi tada yogam avapsyasi. How do you get that state of yoga, that state of self-realization? Shruti vipratipanna. When your intellect, though perplexed by what you have heard so many things, but your intellect is not very clear, shall stand immovable and steady in the self. So when that intellect has realized what is that consciousness, and it is steadily standing in that consciousness, then you will attain liberation. That is when one's intellect comes to a steady equipoise and is undisturbed by any of the experiences, then reach one through the 5 gateways or the archways of knowledge, which are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Then one is considered to attain the state of yoga. The mind gets agitated mainly due to the flooding in of the ever new rush of stimuli from the outer world. Sense organs are the antennae through which the world's tickling signals creep in and disturb the mental pool. One is considered as having attained yoga only when one, even in the midst of enjoying pleasures, sensuous pleasures, and while the sense organs are letting in a flood of stimuli, does not get at all disturbed within one's inner serenity and equipoise. So this is that state of calmness of mind, is that state of yoga. And linking up this stanza with the next one, Shankara says, anxious to know the characteristic features of the one whose intellect has come to equipoise, he asks this question as soon as he gets the chance to interrogate. So all this time Arjuna was hysteric. He was crying. He was arguing so many things. He was talking to Krishna. Now, after having listened to the words of knowledge from Bhagavan Shri Krishna, Arjuna's mind has become very quiet and he has gone suddenly into an academic mode. He wants to know how we may ask in our school and college when a teacher is explaining something. We will ask the teacher about giving a concrete example for what she is explaining in the world of human beings or in a situation in a human, especially in management classes. They will always tell stories to give concrete examples. In the same way, Arjuna is asking this question from Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Arjuna uvacha sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhi kim prabhasheta kimasita vrajeta kim. He is asking a two-pronged question. Arjuna uvacha. Arjuna is saying, sthita prajnasya. You are describing the person of a steady intellect. Prajna is wisdom. Steady wisdom means very clear perception of everything. Like there is no disturbance, there is no wrong understanding, there is no confusion, there is no doubt. The perception is very clear for that person. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha. What is the mode of expression of that sthita prajna? How does he show up in life? Samadhihi tasya keshava. You say his mind will be one-pointed. When he is in that one pointed state of mind, how does he actually look like? How is he being? What is his state of being? Sthita dhihi, for the one with a steady intellect. Kim prabhasheta, normal activities. How are his normal activities? How does he talk with other people? Does he shout? Does he get temperamental? Does he get emotional? Does he get excited? Does he get agitated? Kim prabhasheta, kim asita, how does he sit? Does he slouch or he just relaxes or sits any way he please or puts his legs on the table and sits? What does he do? Kim asita, vrajeta kim, how does he walk? Like even when these people who are all talking about manifesting goals, this is the practice that they give us. What is the practice? 5 years down the line, think about what kind of a person you want to be, how you want to speak, how you're going to speak, how you're speaking, how you're walking, how you're sitting, how you're talking to others, how you are feeling, all these things. This is that is the way to embody something. So Arjuna is asking the ways by which Sthita Prajnasa Lakshanam, he is asking about the great masters who are living like this. Siddhasya Lakshanani, Sadhakasya Sadhanani. The virtues of great masters, whether we praise them or we describe them, we are learning the way to be like that in our own mind. So with that aim in mind, he is asking, how is he being? How does he keep his mind? How does he talk? How does he sit? And how does he walk? And so Gurudev here says, the grief-stricken hero of the first chapter has forgotten his hysteria and has now come to take an active interest in the discussion. Arjuna is asking a forked question now, a description of the state of mind of the man of realization, merged in self-experience, and an explanation as to how that experience will influence his actions in the outer world when he emerges from that transcendental experience. So with this, we come to a conclusion to today's topic. We will see the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas that are being spoken of by Bhagavan from verses 55 until how much we can see. I think there are 68 verses in this chapter. Let us see tomorrow. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasorma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Boli Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. Har Namah Parvati Pataye. Hara Hara Mahadeva. Hari Om.